Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh. Ramzee Kahania, The Mystical Tales, by Raghbir Singh, 1947, translated by Professor Kulwant Singh ji. Chapter 1. Anandpur. Maharaja Prabhu Singh was the king of Anandpur. One of his friends, Manmukh Singh, who had earlier been separated from him, had now settled down in another state, Trishnagar. When Maharaj Prabhu Singh got to learn that his friend is in Trishnagar, was miserably poor and helpless, he deputed one of his most wise and loyal ministers, Sant Singh, to go to Trishnagar, locate Manmukh Singh, and bring him to Anandpur. The king, however, warned Sant Singh that as Manmukh Singh was very stubborn, he was to be brought to Anandpur with care and tact. On reaching Trishnagar, Sant Singh got to know the whereabouts of Manmukh Singh. He hired a house in the same neighborhood and started living there. Sant Singh got a very nice garden made in front of his house, in which he planted all sorts of colorful, sweet-scented flowers. He who passed in front of the garden was utterly enchanted by its beauty and fragrance. Manmukh Singh, too, would often stop and spend a few pleasurable moments there. One day, the gardener invited Manmukh Singh into the garden, and on inquiry, the latter got to learn that the master of the house was not only very rich, but also extremely generous and sympathetic towards the poor. The more Manmukh Singh heard about the master, the greater became the desire to meet him, as he thought Sant Singh might help him. Sant Singh welcomed him, lent a sympathetic ear to the story of his life, of how Manmukh Singh had failed in his business, lost all his property, and in spite of his deteriorated health and weak condition, how he had to labor to feed his children. Sant Singh consoled Manmukh Singh and gave his own life as an example. He showed him how difficulties could be overcome by facing them courageously and not giving in to them. By Sant Singh's constant encouragement, Manmukh Singh was gradually remolded. It appeared to him like Sant Singh, he too could overcome his difficulties and rebuild his destiny. A few days later, the moneylender who had earlier financed Manmukh Singh's business sent for him. When Manmukh Singh started losing in his business, the moneylender had refused to give him any more money, but now, he said, he had changed his mind. He was now willing to give Manmukh Singh as much money as he wanted for restoring his business. Manmukh Singh was very surprised and wondered what had changed him. Why had this miser sent him money? But a hungry person on getting food seldom stops to think from where and how he has got it. He is more interested in eating the food first. So Manmukh Singh asked the moneylender how much money he was willing to give him. "You can take as much as you want. There is no limit for good people like you," the moneylender smiled and replied. Manmukh Singh borrowed money, restarted his business, and in practically no time at all, he was a multimillionaire again. Now he had wealth, respect, and happiness. One day, Manmukh Singh went to the moneylender to thank him for helping him out of his difficulties. The moneylender then revealed to Manmukh Singh the truth. "Manmukh Singh, you're mistaken in thinking that I have helped you by giving you money. Your material condition had deteriorated to such an extent that I considered it a great risk to give you any more money. All that I have done for you is at the request of your neighbor, Sant Singh. He has kept lots of money with me and has stood surety for you. All his benevolence that has been shown to you is entirely due to Sant Singh." On hearing this, Manmukh Singh hurried to Sant Singh's house and found him sitting in his garden, playing his sitar and singing in a melodious voice. "अपने लोभ को कीनो मीत, सगल मनोरथ मुक्त पद दीत, ऐसा मीत करो सब कोय, जाते बिरथा कोई न होए, अपने स्वाय hriday le dharya, dukh darad rog sagal bidarya. Rasna giti bolat na Ram, puran hoye sagle kaam. Anek bar nanak balihara, safal darshan gobind hamara. He who befriends the Lord only to satiate his own selfish desires, even him the Lord fulfills and delivers. Let us all then befriend him, from whom no one goes away empty-handed. He who enshrines the Lord in his heart for his own selfish sake, even his pain and sorrow are destroyed. He who is absorbed in repeating the name of the Lord, all his desires are fulfilled. Nanak sacrifices many times to the Lord for just one glimpse of the Beloved. Page 195, Sri Guru Granth Sahib. When Sant Singh ended this divine song, Manmukh Singh addressed him with folded hands. Dear sir, the moneylender has told me everything. By doing me this great favor, you have changed my destiny. Tell me in what way I can serve you. How can I repay this debt? On hearing such words of sincere gratitude, Sant Singh replied, Friend, I have done you no favor. I have merely followed my master's instructions. I am the minister of Maharaj Prabhu Singh of Anandpur, under whose orders I have come to your state. You might not remember that you and Maharaj Prabhu Singh were playmates in your childhood and were the best of friends. But you were still a child when your father left Anandpur and settled in the state of Trishnagarh. In spite of your forgetting him due to your changed environment, he still remembers you and is concerned about your welfare. He has sent me here to find you and to take you to him in Anandpur. When I saw your deteriorated financial condition, I knew you wouldn't have agreed to leave your family in such misery, and so I stood surety for you. Now that your condition has improved considerably, I extend to you the invitation from my master. He would like you to return to Anandpur and live near him in a state of supreme bliss, supreme Anand, just as you did in your childhood. I am extremely grateful to Maharaj Prabhu Singh, who has done this for me, said Manmukh Singh, but I have no recollection of the fact that we were once playmates. After coming to Trishnagarh, I was brought up by my father, Pride, and my mother, Maya, but they never told me a thing about my childhood friend Maharaj Prabhu Singh. Manmukh Singh agreed to go to Anandpur, and it was decided that from that day Manmukh Singh would instead be called Gurmukh Singh, as the former name was not considered to be good in Anandpur. After considerable preparations, Gurmukh Singh, along with Sant Singh, set out for this long journey, a difficult journey, to Anandpur. First they travelled by train, then on horses and mules, and later on the road became so narrow that one could only walk in single file with difficulty. Gurmukh Singh often got very tired and used to think of himself that if only he had known what was in store for him, he might not have gone out at all. But Sant Singh kept encouraging him by saying that in the initial stages of this journey, it always appears to be difficult, while the second half would be much more pleasant and enjoyable. Gurmukh Singh would often be filled with doubts. If Maharaj Prabhu Singh is so concerned about my welfare, why doesn't he help me now? Every part of my body is aching. Look at the blisters on my feet. Sant Singh, Maharaj Prabhu Singh has one rule, that anyone who wants to meet him must walk on his own 2 feet to reach him, and cover every inch of the journey without any outside help. In this respect, he is not partial to anyone. But he does help his visiting friends by sending one of his experienced ministers, one who is very familiar with the path, to help them on the way. Anyway, your tiredness will soon disappear. The next phases of this journey are very pleasant. In fact, so pleasant that some travelers abandon the journey thinking they have reached Anandpur. I feel I should caution you right at the outset. Sant Singh kept leading Gurmukh Singh higher and higher into the mountains. After reaching the top of a hill, one day they came upon a house with a beautiful garden situated in the middle of a meadow. Gurmukh Singh heaved a sigh of relief, and his faith in Sant Singh's words were strengthened. As they entered the garden, the gardener and the servants recognized Sant Singh and rushed forward to welcome him. They were led into the house, and Gurmukh Singh was very well looked after. Food, drink, a soft bed with velvet cushions were made available. During their entire stay there, one thing struck Gurmukh Singh as being very strange. No sooner did anyone ask for something that the servants of the house produced it, almost in no time. It appeared as if they were always waiting impatiently for Gurmukh Singh to ask for something so that they could immediately satisfy him. One day, while strolling in the garden, Gurmukh Singh happened to glance at something written in bold letters on top of the entrance to the house. It read, Pita Kirpal Agya e Dini Barak Mukh Mange So Dena. The compassionate father who has given his command that his child be provided with anything he asks for. Page 1266. Gurmukh Singh now understood why travelers were so well looked after and pampered by the servants of the house. Duty demanded that Gurmukh Singh, having rested for some time, carried on with the rest of his journey. But on the other hand, he felt that the very aim of one's life was to have one's every wish fulfilled, and this was precisely what he was getting here. Where was the need to proceed any further? And after all, what more could possibly lie ahead? Sant Singh explained that Maharaj Prabhu Singh had ordered to leave Gurmukh Singh there if he so wished, and not to compel him to go further. But all the same, Gurmukh Singh was wrong in assuming that there could be nothing more beyond this point. The king who has such a beautiful resting place at the first phase of the journey, how much more beautiful must his capital and his own person be? Sant Singh had warned Gurmukh Singh that on the way to Anandpur he would come across many places, each more beautiful than the other, and that they would all try and entice him. He was to resist temptation and continue the journey, not mistaking any one of them as his final goal. Gurmukh Singh was in a dilemma. Part of him wanted to stay in the place where he thought he had found true happiness, and yet another part of him seemed to be influenced by Sant Singh's reasoning. But in the end, his better sense gained victory over his weaknesses, and Gurmukh Singh decided to immediately set out again on the journey. Now, Gurmukh Singh, led by Sant Singh, was making good progress through the hills. As they climbed higher and higher, the air was getting more and more rarefied. The previous part of the journey appeared more like a dream, and the narrow, winding path they were now treading seemed to resemble a snake twisting and turning all the way from the top of the hill to its foot, and further down, right up to Trishnagarh. After gazing at the path below for some time, Gurmukh Singh asked Sant Singh, Maharaj Ji, I have been wondering, Anandpur is a big state, and it has such a great king, and yet there is only one narrow path leading to it. What could be the reason for this? Sant Singh, this pathway that you see is called the road of meditation. A man can only walk on it alone. The state of Trishnagarh is under the sovereignty of the state of Anandpur. Anandpur is so beautiful that if the road leading to it were very wide and without any obstacles, then the entire population of Trishnagarh would come and settle in Anandpur itself. Raja Man Singh of Trishnagarh is aware of this, and that is why he has been allowed the concession that the road between the two states is to be narrow and difficult. It will be impossible for one to find the right path unless he has with him a guide, who is familiar with the route. For this reason only, a few rare travelers are occasionally found on this road of meditation. The majority of people of Trishnagar do not even know of the existence of this road. While others consider Anandpur to be fiction, only that person can travel to Anandpur whom Maharaj Prabhu Singh himself invites and helps by sending a trusted servant of his court to guide him on the way. Other than the road of meditation, there is no way leading to Anandpur. Having said this, Sant Singh recited the following: Kaho Nanak, iho tat bichara, bin har bhajan nahi chutkara. Guru Nanak says, think over the essence of this truth. Without the Lord's worship, there is no salvation. Page 188. After many days of hard traveling, the sheer climb ended abruptly, and there they came upon a beautiful place. Gurmukh Singh had just about finished this part of his difficult journey. His feet were bleeding and he was extremely tired. Seeing the palace and the pleasant surroundings, Gurmukh Singh heaved a sigh of relief and asked Sant Singh, Maharaj, have we reached Anandpur? And does this place belong to Maharaj Prabhu Singh? Sant Singh replied, this is the last rest camp in our journey to Anandpur. Next, we move in the direction to that snow-covered peak that you can see. There you will meet Maharaj Prabhu Singh. You may rest here for some time, but be careful not to be carried away by this palace and all that it has to offer. Gurmukh Singh promised to complete the journey after he had refreshed himself. As they entered the palace, Gurmukh Singh was taken aback by the fact that although the palace showed every sign of being inhabited, there was no one inside, no doorkeeper, no gardener or servant. Wherever he moved, the doors opened by themselves. Whatever he thought of instantaneously appeared before him. But he was so tired that he fell asleep. After some time he awoke and felt very hungry. No sooner had the thought of food entered his mind that he found himself seated at a table filled with all sorts of tasty dishes. Seeing his astonishment, Sant Singh explained, Maharaj Prabhu Singh has ordered that when one of his friends comes to stay at this palace, he doesn't have to ask for anything himself. He merely has to think and desire, and it is all at once fulfilled. The foundation of this palace has been built upon such spiritual laws which make this possible. Of course, in life too, man's desires, given the right amount of time, are also fulfilled, but one has to make an effort at this lower level of existence. On the other hand, at this stage of the journey to Anandpur, desires are fulfilled without the least effort. Having reached this place, man is no longer imprisoned by time and space, and all things are made possible. One could, if he so wished, become a mighty king with palaces and armies, live 1,000 years, the entire world could lie at one's feet. But remember, this place is merely a rest camp, and we will still have to move further to Anandpur, where Maharaj Prabhu Singh resides. Gurmukh Singh took full advantage of his position. He became emperor with generals and armies obeying his every command. He had palaces and servants looking after every comfort. Having fully exhausted his material ambition, he wished for spiritual powers. He could change the size of his body at will. He gained the power of clairvoyance and could read people's thoughts. All occult powers were his slaves. Now that Gurmukh Singh had attained fulfillment both in the material and spiritual sense, he failed to understand what made Sant Singh wait for him. He felt he should go and ask him to leave without him. With this in mind, one day Gurmukh Singh entered Sant Singh's room. A sitar was being played, and in a sweet voice Sant Singh was singing the following divine hymn. Moti ta mandar usre, ratni ta hoye jadao, Kastur kungu agar chandan leep ave chao. Mat dek bhula visare tera chit na ave nao. Har bin jiyo jal bal jao. मैं अपना गुरपूछ देखया अवर नाही था. धरती ताहीरे लाल जड़ती पलंग लाल जड़ाओ. मोहनी मुखमणि सोहै करे रंग पसाओ. मत देख भूला वीसरै तेरा चित न आवे नाओ. सिद्ध होवा सिद्ध लाई रिद आखां आओ. गुपत प्रगट होए बैसा लोक राखे भाओ. मत देख भूला वीसरै तेरा चित न आवे नाओ. सुल्तान होवा मेल लश्कर तखत राखा पाओ. हुक्म हासिल करी बैठा नानका सब वाओ. मत देख भूला वीसरै तेरा चित न आवे नाओ. Shall I have palaces built of rubies, set with gems and plastered with musk, saffron, and sawdust of eagle and sandalwood, by which yearning ambition may arise in the mind? No, lest by seeing them I may go astray, forget thee, O Lord, and thy name may not enter my heart. Without Waheguru my soul is scorched and burned down. I am convinced after consulting my Guru that there is no other place except Waheguru. Though the floor may be of mosaic of diamonds and rubies, and the couch be encased with gems, may it not be that on beholding them I may go amiss and forget Waheguru and remember not his name. Page 14. On entering the room, Gurmukh Singh had experienced such peace and tranquillity which he had never been fortunate enough to attain. When he heard Sant Singh repeatedly sing, Mat dekh bhula visare tera chit na aave nao, may it not be that on beholding them I may go amiss and forget thee, Waheguru, and not remember your name. Gurmukh Singh felt very guilty. Yet when Sant Singh asked him if he was ready to continue the journey to Anandpur, he replied, I am afraid that you had earlier cautioned me against this, that it may come to pass. I am so happy and contented here that I don't want to go any further. All my desires are instantly transformed into realities, and I can now fashion a universe of my own and play any role I want in it. To me this itself seems to be Anandpur. I can see nothing more ahead for me, so how can I leave all this that I have and run after something I cannot even see? Sant Singh, as I've said earlier, I cannot compel you to go ahead. The choice is entirely yours. You may stay here if you so wish, or even retrace your steps back to Trishnagar. It is, however, my duty to acquaint you with all the facts. The argument that you have advanced in favor of staying here is incorrect. You are trying to compare the seen with the unseen. How can you contest the pros and cons of the journey that you have covered with a part that you have yet to go? In trying to merely visualize that which you haven't seen, you may be making a big mistake. Just stop and think. If this place was the best, wouldn't Maharaj Prabhu Singh himself reside here? In spite of the fact that you at this stage might not fully understand me, I will nonetheless try to tell you something about the importance of what lies ahead by giving you an example. There was once a king who had only one son. When the son grew up, the father permitted him to rule over one of his cities. As he grew older, he was given the entire province to govern, and he discharged his duties admirably. One day the king called all his ministers and announced that from now forward his son would rule in his place. There would be no difference between father and son. Gurmukh Singh, now tell me which position was the best for the king's son, ruling over the city or sitting on his father's throne? Gurmukh Singh, Maharaj, the answer is apparent. The final position was the best. But what connection could this possibly be with me? Sant Singh, you are mistaking the city or the province that has been given to you to rule over to be the entire kingdom. You have mistaken these two rest camps, which so strongly attract you, to be the end of the journey. Later on you will fully understand this mistake, but if you stay here, you will continue to consider this as your final destination. From the very beginning, Gurmukh Singh had come to have great faith in Singh, and the latter had always proved to be his well-wisher. It occurred to Gurmukh Singh that there might be some truth to what his guide had said. Singh had been in all stages of this journey, and if he advised him to move on, it would be foolish not to do so. Gurmukh Singh was in deep thought. Memories of all the joys he had experienced in the palace flashed before him. It was extremely difficult to leave everything and follow Singh. Gurmukh Singh could see only pitch darkness ahead. What should he do? It was the duty to follow the advice of his experienced friend. Singh interrupted his train of thought. If you want to, you can ponder over what I have said. I can wait. Hearing his voice, Gurmukh Singh raised his eyes and looked at him. He noticed something strange in the very depth of Singh's eyes. He saw his friend's enlightened soul in which there was overflowing happiness, rock-like stability, radiance, power, love, tranquility, and Anand. Having glimpsed the very divinity in Singh, Gurmukh Singh now took a careful look at his own condition. He saw a great difference between the both. His very soul seemed to cry out repeatedly from within and implore him to embrace the guide's feet and not let this great soul go on alone. He should leave everything and follow Singh, never looking back, lest he once again be overcome by weakness. Gurmukh Singh and Singh were again in the very thick of the mountains. They had been travelling for many days, and the joys of the palace now appeared to Gurmukh Singh to be like shadows in a dream. As he climbed higher, the surrounding atmosphere seemed to be having a tranquilizing effect on his mind. At this juncture, Singh addressed him. Now we have climbed quite a bit, and are very close to near Anandpur. We have only to cross those 3 hills that you can see, on the other side of which lies Anandpur. These 3 hills are called the sacrifice of desire, the sacrifice of mind, the sacrifice of self. People crossing the hill of the sacrifice of desire have to shed their load of desires because it is so steep that one cannot climb with a load. In the last rest camp, you considered yourself to be very happy because the minute a desire arose in your mind, it was fulfilled. But there you were forced to take the help of desire. Your happiness was fully dependent upon it and was gained through it. You, in other words, were the slave of desire. When you pass this hill, you will realize how, for centuries, the subtle load of desires has weighed down upon your soul. When Gurmukh Singh was following Singh through the hill, he, for the first time, noticed that he had grown very light. His soul experienced a strange type of divine bliss. He was earlier under the impression that without desire a man could not exist. His misconception was removed in an instant. He now realized that desire was a mere toy with which his soul had been playing for centuries, and that after sacrificing this toy of desire, the player remained untouched. Only the weight of this toy, which the soul had been carrying for births, for many lives, had been shed. Now Gurmukh Singh was feeling pretty light and was more than ready to scale the next hill, the sacrifice of the mind. Singh explained that while passing through this hill, one has to leave behind his own intelligence, his man, his mind, and any opinions or preconceived notions that one has formed. This, too, is a subtle thing which has always oppressed the soul and proved to be an obstacle on the way to truth. While he progressed, Gurmukh Singh now realized that all his conclusions and decisions were shallow and incomplete. All the advice he gave others to bring them to the correct line was wrong. His divisions of people into good and bad was a mistake. Standing on this hill, he now felt that no person in this world was even capable of making a mistake of doing any wrong. In fact, everyone was moving towards progress by doing what was good for his particular stage of development. Even in all misfortunes of man, the golden rule of divine love was working. Man is punished only when he tries to break this divine law. Once man understands his mistake, divine love embraces him and takes him to the next stage of his development. Gurmukh Singh also got to learn that all the difficulties that he had to face in Trishnagarh were entirely due to his negligence of this law. What shame and hatred were born in him due to the poor condition, it was divine love that sent Sant Singh to his aid. He also realized that although he had covered the journey on his own 2 feet and reached very near Anandpur, there was not a single part of that journey which he could have covered without the help and encouragement of his guide, Sant Singh. Now Gurmukh Singh seemed to catch the true import of the following. Baham pakad li no kar apna, har har katha sada jap japna. The Lord has held me by hand and made me meditate upon his name Waheguru forever. Baham pakad kad line apne gre andhakoop te maya. The Lord himself holds them by the hand and pulls them out of this quagmire of the world. Hum rulte firte koi baat na puchta, gur satgur sang kire hum thape. I was a helpless wanderer, no one even cared for me. But even I, a mere worm, have found honor through the grace of the true Guru. Page 167. They came to the last hill, the sacrifice of self. Here one has to sacrifice one's own very self, and this in turn transforms itself to the union with Maharaj Prabhu Singh. The self, or the man's ego, alone is the heavy weight which stands between man and his master. Dhan pir ka ek hi sang vasa, which home bheet karari. The bride and groom exist together, but between the two is the curtain, the stone wall of I amness, me. Page 1263. By shedding this self, Gurmukh Singh was now a soul. The load of all his impurities, misconceptions, doubts, decisions, and opinions had been removed. When in this state, Gurmukh Singh was asked by Sant Singh to look in the direction of Anandpur. He found a great lustrous being looking at him and smiling. Sant Singh advanced and bowed at his feet. This was Maharaj Prabhu Singh. Gurmukh Singh stared in astonishment at this great king who had come himself to meet him halfway. Gurmukh Singh was handed a mirror by Sant Singh and got the shock of his life as the face that he saw in the mirror was the exact replica of Maharaj Prabhu Singh. Seeing Gurmukh Singh's perplexity, Sant Singh whispered in his ear, Man tu jot saroop hai, apna mool pachan. Man harji tere naal hai, gurmati rang maan. Mind, man, you are a spark of the divine light. Recognize the true source of your being. The Lord is ever within you. Rejoice by following the Guru's way. Maharaj Prabhu Singh now came up to Gurmukh Singh and embraced him. Gurmukh darge manniye, har aap le gal laye. The Gurmukh is honored by the divine, and the Lord himself goes forward to embrace him. By this divine touch, in an instant, all Gurmukh Singh's tiredness of the long journey left him. Gurmukh Singh had never experienced such happiness before. Tears of gratitude started streaming from his eyes. Maharaj Prabhu Singh escorted Gurmukh Singh to the royal palace. The court was in progress, and its description was beyond narration. Maharaj Prabhu Singh made Gurmukh Singh sit next to him on the throne, and the court dancer sang in Dhanasri Rag. Jin tum bheje tine bulaye, sukh sahaj seti ghar aao, anand mangal gun gao, sahaj dhun nehchal raj kamao, tum ghar aavo mere meet, tumre dokhi har aap nivare, apda bhai batit, pragat kine prab karne hare, नासन भाजन थाके, घर मंगल वाजे नित वाजे, अपने खसम निवाजे, अस्थिर रहो डोलो मत कब हूँ, गुर के बचन आधार, जय जयकार सगल भूमंडल, मुख उजल दरबार, जिनके जी तिने ही फेरे, आपे भया सहाय, अचर्ज किया Karne hare Nanak sach vadiyai. He who sent you out of your home has brought you back to it safe and sound. So sing the Lord's praises with joy in strains and be eternally blessed. O friend, come back to your home, for the Lord has got rid of all your enemies and your woes. The Lord has brought you glory, and the outgoings of your mind have ceased. In your home rings the music of bliss. Such is the blessing of the Lord. Do not sway and be strong by leaning on the Guru's word. The whole world will resound in your victory, and your countenance will sparkle in the Lord's court. He to whom I belong has transformed my state, and I have become my own helper. So wondrous are the miracles of my Creator, my Datar, whose glory is ever true. Page 678. After Gurmukh Singh had spent some time in Anandpur, one day Maharaj Prabhu Singh lovingly said to him, Gurmukh Singh, I don't like to say this to you, but in the interest of the world at large, it would be good if you once again went and stayed in Trishnagarh for some time. We still have some friends there whose souls are very unhappy and dissatisfied. They need to come to Anandpur, and you could help them do so. Along with them, try and make your own children and friends also be worthy to come to Anandpur. Now it won't be that difficult as before for you to come and meet us here whenever you wish. On the wings of meditation, of Naam, you can fly here in an instant. We with all our power will remain with you always. Gurmukh Singh bowed in obedience and turned towards Trishnagarh. Janan maran dohu mein nahi, jan par upkari aaye, ji daan de bhakti layan harsyo lain milaye. Beyond birth and death they are, who come into this world to do good for others. They bless all with a spiritual life, lead them to your worship, and unite all with you, the Divine. Page 749.